Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 6 of Real Talk for Real Moms. This is my friend Catherine, Cathi, depending on how you want to refer to her. And Cathi and I have been friends since, well, a very long time. I mean, I was, 17, I think, when I lived at your house. And then she started the motherhood journey before me, and pretty much when I had a baby and was overwhelmed and ready to snap, told me I had to come over. So, she's kind of helped me at the beginning of this and throughout the journey. We've kind of chatted about mom life and stuff. So I thought, who better to talk to than Catherine? All right, so we're going to start easy. Number of kids you have?
I have 2 kids. Yeah.
How old?
Oh, 2 kids. They are 13 and 9, both boys. All boy, both of them.
All right, so what's the funniest thing each boy's ever done?
Oh, goodness. It's hard to really, with my youngest one, it's hard to pick something because he is naturally quick-witted. He is such a funny kid. I don't even know where I can go with that one. My oldest, he's pretty sarcastic. He's 13 years old, almost 14. And right now, his funny thing is picking on Dad, kind of picking on him being an old man, which is it's endearing and annoying at the same time because he's not wrong. But so him, the sarcasm of a 13-year-old is actually pretty funny, and the 9-year-old, I'll have to think on that one because, like I said, he's so quick-witted. It's hard to pick something.
Is he better at timing? Because I feel like my son doesn't always get the timing right on some of the quick-wit moments.
Yeah, my youngest is pretty good at it. He really is. He takes jabs at Cole, which is my oldest, in a way that even makes Cole laugh. He's like, dang, that was good. He's good with timing. Cole, my older one, he's the one that timing is not a thing. Like, he doesn't really get it.
That's hysterical. All right, so what was the biggest surprise to you about being a mom in the beginning?
I think, in the beginning, ooh, that's hard. That's 13 years ago. I think the biggest surprise was literally how quickly you're willing to die for somebody else. When you think true love is painted to be that picture of a romantic true love, and that's not even it. It's when you have a child that you are really willing to die for them. Yeah.
Okay, and what would you say, did you learn something different when you had your second versus when you had your first? Like, was there a big surprise, like, oh my gosh, I did not expect this?
Yeah, we tried to prepare my oldest son for a second child, and I didn't know if it would be possible to expand my heart to love another child, in the same way as the first one, but somehow it's amazing how you actually can, and your heart just doubles in size, and you're able to love them. I mean, you have the 2 of them, how that is. But what I was not prepared for was for my oldest son to try and kill my child. He was very jealous, and I couldn't leave the room. He had just turned 4, and I swear, like, he was like crazy, like, I will kill this child. But now they're best friends.
My oldest told me to take my son back. We needed a reacher, and this one didn't stop screaming. So it was broken. So that was it for me. Now, as they've grown older, have there been things, like, if you were to point out one thing, was there one thing that really kind of, oh my gosh, this is what parenting looks like? I wasn't prepared for this phase or this specific difficult thing?
How real do you want to get?
Be real, girl.
Be real? Yeah, you know what? I think it would have a lot to do with my oldest right now. The youngest, he's such a, he's a whirlwind personality. But it's easy. It's easy, I think, with the second one because I've already been here. Where with my oldest one, I tell him pretty often, please have grace with me because this is my first time parenting a 13-year-old. So I'm having grace for you because this is your first time being 13, so please have grace for me. And recently, I mean, with him being a teenager and being a boy and learning about his body and learning about his desire for girls, we have a lot of pretty intense spiritual conversations about guarding himself and protecting himself. And I don't know that anybody can prepare you for that, or any book reading, any conversation. I don't think anything can really prepare you for those moments. But I think the question was, can you phrase that to me again so I can hit the answer correctly?
Your biggest, like, oh my gosh, I wasn't prepared for that moment. Okay. Now that they're older.
Yeah, it would be definitely having the discussion about guarding his sexuality and his gift for his future wife. I think I was not, when it came up, it was not something that I was like, oh, we're about to head this way. It was very, very quick, and I was not ready for that, and I had to rely on the Holy Spirit to help me talk through that one.
Okay. Yeah. And then if you could change one thing about the culture of mothering, what would it be?
I think getting babysitters. I have a girlfriend who coined the term, so I want to give her the credit where it's due. She calls it, we should not have any more stay-at-home moms. They should be go-with-me moms. And, I've always, been a stay-at-home mom with my own business that I can run from the house so I can be with my kids. And I've been homeschooling my kids for 5 years now, and I take them everywhere with me. I stopped getting babysitters a long time ago. The only time I get a babysitter is for date night. But they go with me to every single store, meetings, doctor's appointments, even pap smears. My son's going to be in the corner of the room, facing the other direction, but we take them everywhere so that they can be exposed to real life. So I think that would be something I'd love to get rid of, is the stay at home and get babysitters type deal.
Okay, now would you say that part of that had to do with being a military wife, or do you think that's just would have been what you would have felt either way?
With the first child, I was forced into it, living away from people that I knew and not having an option to get a babysitter. With the second one, it was a choice because I loved everything that my son learned and what he was exposed to, so I wanted to do it again.
Okay, that makes sense. I just know that some people might not know that background, and so it always helps to know that, there was context, but that didn't dictate your decision, so to speak.
Correct.
All right. And then, what would you say has been the hardest part, top to bottom, about being a mom?
Oh gosh, that's so hard. It's a myriad of things. I think the hardest part, I'm going to get emotional about this one. The hardest part is starting to let go. My oldest is going to be in 10th grade, and we have a plan for after high school, and it's pretty solid. And I know that he's the kind of guy who, and I say guy now because he's no longer just a little kid, he's a guy. He's turning into a man, and he is the kind of guy that God is going to use all over the world. And once he gets his wings and flies, I'm not sure how often he's going to return. So that letting go is very, very, very difficult.
I get that one. My son, when he turned 9, he looked at me on the day he turned 9 and he goes, "Hey, guess what? I'm halfway to adulthood. Just thought you should know." And I was like, ouch!
Get behind me, Satan. That's what you said to that.
I was like, you just ruined your birthday for me emotionally. You have wrecked me now. Thank you. So, because my oldest is 12, so I was already there with her, because we're already in that mindset of 6 years from now, she's an adult. And that hit me. And then he came right behind her and was like, "Hey, by the way," and I was just like, okay, this is enough. We need to stop this. I don't want to be that mom, clinging to their shirt, trying to hang them in the house. but I'm going to miss them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my husband and I, we say often to our kids and to our friends that we are not raising children, we are raising somebody's husband. And so I pray for my daughters-in-law often. I talk about them. I don't know who they are or where they are right now, but I talk about them often as if they're already in existence. And I'm like, oh my gosh, your wife. I was like, I need to go write a letter to her right now because you're really giving me a night. And I want her to know how hard I'm working for you to be the good husband that she needs you to be. I'm going to go write her a letter. I just need to go talk to her. And so she's both of them, both of my future daughters are very, very real in our house. And on that subject of, kids getting older and everything, my oldest Cole, he's actually gone right now. Both of the kids are at a friend's birthday party sleepover thing. And he wrote a card to his friend, and in the card he said, congratulations, you're 13. Like, he had all this, like, sarcastic welcome to puberty stuff that he'd written down. And he was like, just a heads up, your mom's probably going to cry a lot today. Give her lots of hugs because for some reason, he's like, for some reason, 13 is a big deal for mom, so just be ready for it. I was like,
that was sweet.
What is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Don't do this to him, too. And
and then if his mom reads it, you're both done for, right?
I know. It's awful, but I feel like I am raising an excellent husband, and it's not been easy in this day and age.
I can understand that completely. My son is the king of bounce your eyes. And he'll tell you everywhere we go. He's like, I can't even look over there because somebody didn't teach her to respect herself. And I'm like, son, be nice. But he's like, I can't do it. He's got a good dad who handles that for me because he's so much better in that area at just leading that charge. But, all right, if you could give one piece of mom advice, what would it be?
Oh, gosh. One piece of mom advice. Can I give two?
Sure.
I like to break the rules. So, honestly, I think being honest with your kids is important. Honest about your faults, every single one of them, and knowing the appropriate time to be honest. So, we all have mistakes in our past, and my sons know about my mistakes, and they learn about them as it's appropriate. As the situation arises for them, they learn about the situations that their dad and I have been through. And then the other thing, too, is always be in agreement with your spouse. My husband and I are the same person. We are one, and as one person, we can change our minds. So my husband will say, I didn't go ahead and play Xbox. You have an hour. And then he'll come into the kitchen and say, I'm going to go play Xbox. And I'm like, no, you're not. You didn't clean your room. And he's like, but Dad just said I could. I'm like, well, guess what? Mom and Dad are the same person. And Dad and Mom just changed their mind. You need to go clean your room first. So, and then my husband will override things too, but it's not necessarily trumping the other person. It's just we are saying that as one unit, we have changed our mind, or we have reminded you that you have this to do. So always being in agreement with your spouse, and if you do disagree about child rearing issues, to do that in private. It's been very helpful.
I'm going to throw one tidbit in there that you shared with me a long time ago, and you may not even remember, when I was going through a hard time, just because I feel like it was yours and you should own it. My daughter is, she's one of those strong-willed individuals that God's ever made. I just keep praying we're going to push it towards something good. And she used to tell me all the time, you're not the boss of me, I'm the boss of me. And back then you said to me, yes, she is the boss of her, but you're the boss of her consequences.
That's right.
That was such a pivotal moment for me because I was trying to be the boss of her and that wasn't my role. And so hearing that one, and so while you're talking about mom advice, I wanted to point that one out because I don't think a lot of moms feel like they have that power over the consequences and they try to have that power over the child.
Yeah. It does happen. I see it often, even with myself. Sometimes I forget But it helps to say that out loud and to vocalize that with my kids. I tell them, you can do whatever you want. He's like, I can't play Xbox. My son will say, and I'm like, you can do whatever you want. You can choose to play Xbox right now if you want to. However, if you choose to play Xbox when I have told you that you don't have my permission, then you're going to have consequences for that as well. And I guarantee you won't like them. But you can do whatever you want. And I'm like, and I will love you if you choose to break all my rules. I will love you just the same, no matter what. However, I will have to give you some consequences for your actions. And they're just like, so now they have the power over their choice of what they want to do. And sometimes they choose, my younger one more often than my older, but sometimes they choose to go ahead and do the wrong thing. And I'm like, well, now this sucks because now I have to give you a spanking, or no, you're not allowed to go to that birthday party. And it's the worst.
That's been good for us, though, as we transitioned out of homeschool with our oldest and moved her into school, because knowing that she controls her choices, that they're tied to consequences, has helped her to walk into the world knowing, hey, what I do out here matters. So it matters more than just at home, because they understand that there's consequences tied to actions instead of, the teacher's being mean, or, whatever the case may be. All right, so this is the most fun part of the show for a lot of people. And I know that you will excel in this area without a problem. What is one thing that you are passionate about, and where can people go to find out more about what you're passionate about?
That's so difficult. A long time ago, the Lord started speaking to me about how his people eat and care or do not care for their bodies. And so I'm very, very passionate about treating your body like a temple and taking those scripture verses seriously and taking them to heart and actually caring for your body and nurturing it in the way that we're supposed to nurture it. I am a holistic nutritionist, so I work hard at healing the body using food. So when people have different ailments, different chronic illnesses, I work with my clients to alter their diet and use herbs, supplements, and foods to help them heal and to get off of medications, which is wonderful. I'm more passionate than the knowledge I have in healing people. I'm more passionate about, or I should say the most passionate about teaching people to do it themselves, because my hope is that people can detach from the medical system and from reliance on the medical system.
Your mic went a little funky there. Do you mind doing that one for me again?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
My hope is that people can detach from their dependency on the healthcare system that we have here in America and the Western world, and instead be able to take care of themselves the way that we were created to in the beginning, using the foods and the herbs that God gave us to heal. So I like to teach people how to know and do what I do so that they don't even have to rely on me anymore. I will see a client a few times and teach them throughout the few times that I see them and say, I don't want to see you anymore. I want you to go, and now I want you to teach your kids and your friends and your family members. Keep it spreading. That's my passion. Now to learn more about it, I am on Instagram, and I share a lot of information on Instagram. I think it's at Cathi Chandler. I'm like, I don't even know my own username. I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/lifeabundantly. I think it's Life Abundantly Holistic Co. is what it is. And then I have a website, CathyChandler.com. It's Cathi with an I. And all of my Instagram, Facebook stuff is there. But I try to post free information often. For people that are in regular health and not dealing with chronic illnesses, the free information that I post is, it's out there. Use it, run with it, get better, heal your family. If you have a chronic illness like fibromyalgia, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, anything like that, I can help. It's a different type of plan, and I can help with that as well.
Awesome. And I'm going to throw links in the description for all of that too. That way they're able to find you easily. Because let's be real, mom life is like Googling everything forever, and it takes too long. So we're going to make it easy. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Thanks for taking time to chat with us.
Of course, no problem. It's great seeing you.
You too.